Morning students, I'm Sangeeta, lecturer in chemistry, branch general section, Institute GPT Narankhed, semester 1, subject general engineering chemistry, subject code 18C104F, major topic electrochemistry, duration 30 minutes, subtopic Faraday's laws, teaching aids, PPT, animations, diagrams wherever required. Let us recollect what we have discussed in last class. So what we have discussed in last class? We discussed electrolytic refining of copper. So that is electrolytic refining of copper. So here not copper plating. Copper plating we discussed in the before last class only. So in the last class just we discussed electrolytic refining of copper. So what is electrolytic refining? Electrolytic refining means purification of copper. Purification means removal of impurities from impure copper by electrolysis is called as electrolytic refining. So once again I will revise this electrolytic refining. So here refining of copper, purification of copper. So in this purification, so what you have to do? You have to do electrolysis. By electrolysis only we are purifying the copper. So we need electrolytic cell. So this is the electrolytic cell. So in the electrolytic cell you have to take electrolytic solution. So which metal we are purifying? Copper we are purifying. Copper metal is purifying. So that metallic salt solution will be taken as electrolyte. So here acidified copper sulfate is the electrolytic solution. So this is the impure copper block. So and you have to take the pure copper block. So impure copper block will be connected to the positive pole of the battery. That means it will become anode, and pure copper rod will be connected to the negative pole of the battery. That means it will become cathode. So here we are connecting battery means what is happening? Electricity will pass into the solution. Due to electricity, what happens in the electrolytic cell? Chemical reactions takes place. That means electrical energy is converting into chemical energy. So what are the chemical reactions taking place here? At anode, oxidation will takes place. At cathode, reduction will takes place. So here what happens? This anodic metal, impure copper metal undergoes oxidation. That means copper ions, pure copper ions will come out from this impure copper black and goes into this solution, and these electrons will flow through this copper wire and go to the cathode, and whatever the ions present in the solution and whatever the copper ions coming from this anode, they will move to the cathode. After going to the cathode, they will undergo reduction. What is meant by reduction? Gaining of electrons. So they will gain electrons and they will convert into copper metal. So whatever the copper metal forming, that will deposit on this cathode, and this process will continue until the pure copper dissolved from this impure copper block and totally deposited on this pure copper rod. So after finishing this process, you have to remove this battery connection and you have to remove this cathode outside, and you can separate the pure metal which is deposited on this cathode, and whatever the impurities present in this block, they will go and settle at the bottom of the cell as anode mud. So like this you can purify any metal by this electrolytic refining. So here we have seen the electrolytic refining of copper. Okay, this one we discussed in the last class. This is the one of the application of electrolysis. Okay, so today's our topic is Faraday's laws. Okay, what are the objectives? After completion of this period, you would be able to understand Faraday's laws. So you have two laws, that is Faraday's first law and Faraday's second law. So we'll see the Faraday's laws. Today's our topic is Faraday's laws. So who introduced this Faraday's laws? Michael Faraday, scientist Michael Faraday in 1834, studied the relation between the weight of substance formed and quantity of electricity during electrolysis and proposed laws known as Faraday's laws of electrolysis. So what he did in 1834, he studied the relation between weight of substance and quantity of electricity passed. So between these two, he studied the relation between these two. Whatever the weight of substance forming and whatever the quantity of electricity passing during electrolysis. And he proposed these two laws. And those two laws are named as Faraday's laws of electrolysis. Okay, so that is Faraday's first law and Faraday's second law. So first we will see the Faraday's first law. So what is the Faraday's first law? So the weight of a substance deposited or liberated at electrodes during the electrolysis is directly proportional to the quantity of electricity passed through electrolyte. Okay, this is the statement given by the Faraday's first law. So here, so whatever the quantity of electricity passing onto the electrolytic solution during electrolysis, that much weight will be deposited at the electrodes. Okay, that is directly proportional. It means whatever the quantity we are passing, that much weight will be deposited at the electrodes. So that is the Faraday's first law. So how will you represent that Faraday's first law? W is directly proportional to Q. That means whatever the quantity of electricity we are passing, that much amount will be deposited at the electrode. So W is directly proportional to Q, where W is nothing but weight of substance deposited at the electrode. Q is nothing but quantity of electricity passed on to the electrolyte, where quantity of electricity is given by formula current into time, that is C into time. Q is nothing but this quantity of electricity is given by current into time. So what happens here? W is directly proportional to Q we wrote here. So Q is equal to CT means you can write it as a W is directly proportional to C into T, where C is nothing but current in amperes. T is nothing but time in seconds. Okay, this is the Faraday's first law. W is directly proportional to Q. Q is nothing but C into T. So you can write it as a W is directly proportional to C into T. Then what happens? Whenever if you remove proportionality, you will get one constant. So that constant is represented by small e r z. So you can represent it with small e r z. So here I am represented with small e, then W is equal to ECT. Small e, small c, small t. So where A is nothing but it is a proportionality constant name given as electrochemical equivalent. Okay, so this is the Faraday's first law. W is equal to ECT. Then comes to the units of E. So W is equal to ECT, where E is equal to W by CT. W by CT means W by Q. CT is nothing but Q. So W is Q. So quantity is expressed in coulombs and weight is expressed in grams. Okay, W is expressed in grams and CT is nothing but Q. This will be expressed in coulombs. So okay, grams per coulomb. So units per ER, grams per coulomb. This is not time. ampere per time that will become. So grams per coulomb. So these are the units of E. So this is about Faraday's first law. Then what is electrochemical equivalent? So in Faraday's first law, we got one constant, that is Faraday's first law. So here W is equal to ECT. So when current is 1 ampere, time is 1 second, then what happens to W? W will become E. So we will use here whiteboard. Okay, here according to first law, W is equal to ECT. ECT. So when C is equal to 1 ampere, C is equal to 1 ampere and T is equal to 1 second. So what is W? W is equal to E into 1 into 1. That means 1 into 1. That is nothing but W is equal to E. That means how will you define E? When 1 ampere current is passed in 1 second, so whatever the weight is depositing on the electrode, it is called electrochemical equivalent. When C is equal to 1 ampere, when T is equal to 1 second, what is Q? Q is equal to 1 coulomb. That means when 1 coulomb of electricity is passed onto the electrolytic solution, whatever the weight is depositing on the electrode is called this electrochemical equivalent. So understood? When 1 ampere current passing in 1 second means 1 coulomb of electricity is passed, okay, through electrolyte. So whatever the weight depositing on the electrode, that is called as small e. So how will you define electrochemical equivalent? So here we'll see the definition of electrochemical equivalent. The amount of or the weight of substance formed by passing 1 coulomb of electricity, formed by passing 1 coulomb of electricity through the electrolyte during electrolysis is called electrochemical equivalent. So when you pass 1 coulomb of electricity, whatever the weight is depositing on the electrode, that is called as electrochemical equivalent. So what is the meaning of 1 coulomb of electricity? 1 ampere current in 1 second. So 1 ampere current in 1 second, we are passing onto the electrolyte, and whatever the weight is depositing, that is called electrochemical equivalent. Okay, so this is about Faraday's first law. Once again, I will repeat this Faraday's first law. So according to Faraday's first law, the weight of substance deposited or liberated at electrodes during electrolysis is directly proportional to the quantity of electricity passed through electrolyte. That means whatever the quantity of electricity you will pass on to the electrolytic solution during electrolysis, that much weight will be deposited on the electrodes. So that is given by relation W is directly proportional to Q, where W is equal to weight of substance in grams. Actually, here I write weight of substance deposited at electrode in grams. Okay, then quantity of electricity in coulombs. Quantity of electricity in coulombs. COULOMB. Ps. So quantity will be expressed in coulombs. So where quantity is given by C into T. So C is nothing but current in amperes, T in time in seconds. So here we are writing W is directly proportional to Q. In the place of Q, we are writing C into T. If you remove this proportionality, always wherever, so what happens here, if you remove proportionality, you will get one constant. That constant is nothing but E here. That E is nothing but electrochemical equivalent. Then W is equal to ECT. So here on whiteboard I have shown you know when current is 1 ampere, T is equal to 1 second, Q is equal to 1 coulomb. That means this much current will be passed in this much seconds, 1 seconds, this much weight will be deposited. So whatever the weight depositing, that is nothing but electrochemical equivalent. That means by passing 1 coulomb of electricity, whatever the weight depositing on the electrode, that is called as electrochemical equivalent. So the amount of substance formed by passing 1 coulomb of electricity through the electrolyte during electrolysis is called electrochemical equivalent. So this is about Faraday's first law. Then we'll go to the Faraday's second law. So whenever same quantity of electricity is passed through different electrolytes connected in series. Okay, see here, whenever same quantity of electricity is passed through different electrolytes connected in series, the weight of substances formed at electrodes are directly proportional to their equivalents. So here we are taking different electrolytic solutions and we are connecting these electrolytic solutions in series, and then what we are doing, we are passing the same quantity of electricity on the different electrolytic solutions. When we will pass like that, so what is happening? Whatever the substances depositing at the electrodes are directly proportional to their equivalent weights. Okay, we will see the diagram here. So here we have taken three different electrolytic solution. So in one cell we took H2SO4 solution, in one cell we took copper sulfate solution, and in one cell we took AgNO3 solution, and these are connected in series through a band, okay, here like this. So what is happening here? So on to this we are passing the same quantity of electricity. Then what happens? At anode oxidation will take place, at cathode reduction will takes place. So here due to chemical reactions, some substances will be deposited on the electrodes. At cathodes, the substances will be deposited. Whatever the cathodes are, the electrodes or substances will be deposited. Those substances will be directly proportional to their equivalent weights. So here we are considering these two solutions. So here copper and zinc. Actually here H2SO4 given. So ZnSO4. So we took, so you make it as a ZnSO4. So here take weight of zinc and weight of copper. If you consider this as a zinc sulfate solution, this as a copper sulfate solution. So W1 will be the weight of zinc and W2 will be the weight of copper. Then E1 will be the equivalent weight of zinc and E2 will be the equivalent weight of copper. So weight of zinc is directly proportional to the equivalent weight of zinc. Similarly, weight of copper is directly proportional to the equivalent weight of copper. So here what happens? W1 by W2 is equal to E1 by E2. Okay. Then according to first law, what is W? W is equal to ECT. According to first law, weight of substance is equal to electrochemical equivalent into current into time. So here Then what happens to W1? W1 is equal to E1 CT. W2 is equal to E2 CT. So you have to substitute these values here. So what is W1 here? E1 CT. So I wrote here E1 CT. And what is W2 here? E2 CT. So E1 CT by E2 CT is equal to E1 by E2. CT CT cancels. So what happens? Small E1 by small E2 is equal to capital E1 by capital E2. So from this above relation, what is the meaning of from this above relation? Capital E is directly proportional to small e. So this indicates what? Capital E. What is capital E? Chemical equivalent. What is small e? Electrochemical equivalent. So chemical equivalent is directly proportional to electrochemical equivalent. So if you remove here proportionality, you will get one constant. That constant is represented by letter capital F. That F is nothing but Faraday. So capital E is equal to Fe, where E is equal to E by F. Okay. So here small capital E is equal to F into small e, where E is equal to capital E by F. Here small e is electrochemical equivalent, where capital E is equal to chemical equivalent. F is equal to Faraday. So where E is nothing but chemical equivalent is given by formula atomic weight by valency. Okay, capital E is nothing but atomic weight by valency. So here in the place of E we are writing atomic weight by valency. Valency is represented by small m. So small e becomes what? Atomic weight by valency into F, that is N into F. This E can be written as atomic weight by N into F. We substitute from the first law, what is W? W is equal to ECT. From first law, this is the formula. W is equal to ECT. So what is E here? So what is E here? Atomic weight by N into F. There in W is equal to ECT. Then in the place of E, we are substituting this formula. Atomic weight by valency N into F. So what happens here? W is equal to atomic weight by N into F. This E is nothing but this one. The atomic weight by N into F and C into T. R. This atomic weight by N is nothing but E, capital E. So W is equal to ECT by F, where C into T is nothing but Q. W is equal to EQ by F. So this is about Faraday's second law. So then what is meant by equivalent weight or chemical equivalent? So here in Faraday's second law, what we studied? So when the same quantity of electricity is passed through different electrolytes connected in series, whatever the weight of substances forming at the respective electrodes are directly proportional to their equivalent weights. So what is meant by equivalent weight? So already we studied what is meant by electrochemical equivalent. So what is meant by equivalent weight? So here we'll study what is meant by equivalent weight. So equivalent weight is also called as chemical equivalent, that is represented by letter capital E. So what is equivalent weight? The weight of substance formed by passing 1 Faraday of electricity or 96,500 coulombs of electricity through electrolyte during electrolysis is called equivalent weight. That means when you pass 1 Faraday of electricity onto the electrolytic solution, whatever the weight is depositing at the electrode is called as equivalent weight or chemical equivalent. So 1 Faraday is nothing but 96,500 coulombs of electricity. So what is small e? When you pass 1 coulomb of electricity, whatever the weight depositing, that is electrochemical equivalent. So what is chemical equivalent? When you pass 1 Faraday or 96,500 coulombs of electricity. Whatever the weight is depositing, that is called as chemical equivalent or equivalent weight. Then we'll see the relation between small e and capital E. So already in second lab we have seen small e1 by e2 is equal to capital E1 by E2, where capital E is directly proportional. From this relation what you get, this capital E is directly proportional to small e. So if you remove the proportionality, you will get one constant that is equal to, that constant is represented by F, that F is nothing but a Faraday. So small e is equal to E by F. So this is about Faraday's second law. So once again I will explain here. So in Faraday's second law we are taking different electrolytic solutions and we are connecting it in a series, and we are passing same quantity of electricity on different electrolytic solutions. So here we took different electrolytic solution, that is H2SO4, CuSO4, AgNO3. So here we are showing zinc. So you can imagine this one as zinc sulfate solution. So here weight of zinc sulfate, weight of zinc, W2 is weight of copper, E1 is equivalent weight of zinc, E2 is equivalent weight of copper. So W1 is directly proportional to E1 and W2 is directly proportional to E2. So this can be written as W1 by W2 is equal to E1 by E2. So according to first law, what is W? W is equal to ECT, then what will become W1? You can write W1 as E1CT, W2 as E2CT, then substitute these values in the above formula. So W1 is E1CT, W2 is E2CT is equal to E1 by ET, CT cancels, E1 by E2 is equal to capital E1 by capital E2. From this above relation, what you get? E is directly proportional to small e. Capital E is directly proportional to, this is the relationship between small e and capital E. E is equal to E by F. Okay. So E is nothing but equivalent weight. Small e nothing but electrochemical equivalent. F is nothing but Faraday. 1 Faraday is equal to how many coulombs? 96,500 coulombs. So here chemical equivalent is given by formula atomic weight by valency. So here valency we are representing with small n. Small e is equal to atomic weight by n into. In the place of E, we are substituting this formula atomic weight by n into F. Okay. From first law, W is equal to ECT. In the place of E, we are writing this atomic weight by n into F into C into T. Atomic weight by n is nothing but E. Okay, atomic weight by this n is nothing but capital E. So W is equal to ECT by F. CT is nothing but Q. So you can write it as W is equal to EQ by F. So when we will use this formula, when we will use this formula. So direct quantity of electricity is given and equivalent weight is given to find out the weight. Then we will use this formula. When current and time is given and equivalent weight is given, we will use this formula. So when atomic weight is given and current is time and given, then we will use this formula. Okay. So what is equivalent weight? When you pass 1 Faraday of electricity, whatever the weight depositing, that is called as equivalent weight. So what is 1 Faraday? 1 Faraday is nothing but 96,500 coulombs of electricity. And what is the relationship between small e and capital E? This is very, very important. The small e and capital E relation is small e, capital E is directly proportional to small e is equal to capital E is equal to, you are removing proportionality, you are getting a constant. That constant is represented by F, that F is nothing but Faraday. So here 1 Faraday is nothing but 96,500 coulombs. So small e is equal to capital E by F. So summary, so in this period what we have discussed, Faraday's first law and Faraday's second law. So what type of objective type questions you may expect from this topic? So what is the first question? Which of the following is the charge of 1 mole of electrons? So charge of 1 mole of electrons is nothing but this 1 Faraday. So 96,500 coulombs. Charge of 1 mole of electrons. So what is 1 mole? In solutions we studied no mole concept. 1 mole is nothing but 6.023 into 10 to the power of 23 particles into charge of electron is 1.609 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulombs. If you multiply those two, then you will get this figure. So that is 96,500 coulombs. So quantity will be expressed in coulombs. So here charge of electrons will be in coulombs. So these are the particles. So that's why charge quantity will be expressed in coulomb. So charge of 1 mole of electrons is nothing but 96,500 coulombs. So answer is C. Okay, we will use whiteboard so you will understand clearly. Yes. Okay, charge of 1 mole of electrons. Charge of 1 mole of electrons. Charge of 1 mole of electrons. So what is 1 mole of electrons? What is 1 mole? 6.023 into 10 to the power of 23. So what is the charge of electron? 1.609 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulombs, 1.602. Okay, 10 to the power of minus 19 coulombs. To multiply this one, so you will get a approximately 96,500 coulombs. So the charge of 1 mole of electrons is nothing but 96,500 coulombs. So what is the option here? So option is C. Answer C is correct. So next, what is the next question? The electrochemical equivalent are